Vertical self-administration center, a prison where food is delivered on a descending platform. The higher the level, the more food. The lower the level, the less remains. Each month, inmates are moved to different levels. Goring teams up with Bharat to distribute food fairly, hoping to inspire change in the prison system. In a harsh prison called the Vertical Self-Administration Center, Goring wakes up in a bare concrete cell marked 48. The room contains just a bed, a basin, and a hole in the floor known as the cavity. Each floor holds 2 inmates living under fake identities assigned by the authorities. Food arrives daily on a platform through the hole, with only a 2-minute window to eat before it descends to the next level. The lower the floor, the harder to get food. Every month, inmates move to different levels. Goring, upon seeing the platform for the first time, refuses to eat because he's not hungry, choosing to save the food for those below. Try, his fellow inmate, spits on the table, thinking those above waste food too. Goring saves an apple, but the room heats up after the platform leaves. It turns out hoarding food is forbidden. Goring tosses the apple to avoid a fire, thinking back to his admission interview. He agreed to stay 6 months to earn a diploma, bringing only a copy of Don Quixote. The next day, Goring refuses food again, making Try believe he's wasting his spot on floor 48. Goring asks Try about his past, learning it started with a TV knife ad. He bought one, only for a new model to be advertised soon after. A few days later, enraged, he threw the TV out the window, accidentally killing a passerby. Given the choice between a psychiatric ward or the pit, Trimagasi chose the latter, descending to floor 132. There are floors beyond, but they're unseen from below. Food doesn't reach these lower levels, and while 1 month isn't intolerable, descending 2 tiers is problematic. Goring, fearing a drop to lower floors, tries to communicate with those above and below, urging ration conservation. Try responds by urinating downward, revealing his prized possession is a TV-advertised knife. Reluctantly, Goring starts eating his ration with the next platform arrival. He's alarmed when someone falls through the hole from above, but Try dismisses it. Try shares his experiences on different floors and predicts they'll stick together in future shuffles. Goring realizes they'll remain cellmates during assignments. He learns Trimagasi survived lower floors through cannibalism. During another platform visit, Maharu appears injured, worrying Goring. Try advises against interference. Maharu descends monthly searching for her missing child, using lethal means to increase chances of reunion. Try admits to cannibalism, but not murder, consuming flesh from those who fell to his floor. As the platform ascends, prisoners try to exploit Maharu, but Goring defends her. She dispatches them effortlessly and boards the platform. As the month nears its end, prisoners are sedated and relocated. Goring wakes up restrained on floor 171, where Try defends his actions as self-preservation, citing Goring's youth and strength. Echoes of screams from nearby levels fill the air. When the platform returns, not a crumb remains after 8 days of agony. Try, driven by hunger, callously ignores Goring's pleas and cuts flesh from his thigh with the knife. Before he can eat, Mu arrives on the platform, remembering Goring's kindness. She attacks Try, using her own weapon, then frees Goring and gives him the knife to deliver the final blow to Try. Goring loses consciousness and later wakes to find himself on the bed, his leg bandaged improvisationally by Maharu with a strip of bedsheet. She consumes Try's flesh and offers some meat to Goring, who hesitantly accepts after initial reluctance. She provides water and leaves on the platform without a word. In the following days, Trimagasi's body decays, giving Goring the chance to eat maggots. He starts hallucinating, seeing Trimagasi's ghost condemning him as he eats maggots during the Mayab feast. At month's end, gas floods the cell, and Goring dreams of being with a woman again, with Mu silently watching. Upon waking, he realizes the creature licking him is a dog. To Goring's astonishment, his new cellmate on level 33 is Imagery, the woman who interviewed him before he entered the prison. Accompanying her is a dog, her chosen item. Reflecting on their interview day, Goring recalls Imagery's unsettling pauses between questions. In the present, Imagery reveals she volunteered unaware of the prison's mortality rate. She believes there are 200 levels. When Goring expresses concern about food shortages, Imagery suggests rationing could solve the problem if everyone took only what they needed. She believes spontaneous solidarity could spark change, but Goring doubts it, wondering if a child's death might prompt change. Imagery dismisses this due to policy against under-16s during meals. Imagery consumes only what's necessary and prepares extra rations. On lower levels, she tries to persuade prisoners to share and spread the message, but fails. Goring concludes the administration discourages solidarity. Imagery is dismayed by Goring's pessimism, citing her positive experiences with authority. Goring argues her past job let her choose her cellmate. Despite continuous rejection, Imagery persists in rationing efforts. After 2 weeks, Goring warns lower-level prisoners, follow Imagery's rules or face his waste-contaminating food. They relent, passing messages down. Soon after, an unconscious Maharu arrives on the platform. Goring and Imagery tend to her as the dog hoards food. As the platform leaves, cell temperature drops. Goring chases the dog to retrieve stolen provisions before they face punishment for rule-breaking. That evening, Goring gives up the bed to Maharu and sleeps on the floor, only to wake to the sight of the two women in a confrontation. It turns out Maharu has killed the dog for food. The next day, Maharu leaves on the platform. Goring confides in Imagery about Maharu's quest for her child. Imagery reveals Maharu arrived alone a decade ago, an actress with no family ties who, like Goring, volunteered. She admits her unwitting role in sending people to the facility without understanding its grim reality, confessing her battle with cancer and resignation to fate. On their final day on floor 33, Goring tries to persuade Imagery to eat, fearing their uncertain future. Imagery's despair leaves her immobile. The next morning, Goring wakes on floor 202, more levels than Imagery knew. Overwhelmed, Imagery chooses to end her life with a bedsheet. Trimagasi's hallucination returns, urging Goring to consume Imagery despite their persistent voices. Goring tries distractions, eating pages from his book and tallying days on the wall with a plate shard. Eventually, hunger forces him to reluctantly feed on Imagery, guided by Trimagasi's spectral presence. During the next shuffle, Goring is relieved to find himself on floor 6. His new cellmate is Mu, initially menacing with a knife, but it's just a dream. Goring's actual companion is Bahara, who brought a rope as his chosen item. Bahara, full of enthusiasm, believes they can ascend from level 6. He seeks help from level 5, initially met with resistance before reluctantly getting aid to grasp the rope. However, as Bahara begins his ascent, a prisoner from level 5 defecates on him, causing him to recoil in shock and lose his grip, plummeting downward. Goring manages to catch him, but the rope is lost in the abyss below. During the platform's visit, they eat amid unsettling sounds of intimacy from level 5. Over time, Goring is visited by hallucinations of Trimagasi and Imagery again. Tri praises Goring's progress, noting only 1 month remains, while Imagery reminds him that real change requires deliberate effort. Inspired, Goring devises a plan and recruits Bahara's help. They leap onto the platform armed with makeshift weapons, intending to enforce rationing for equitable food distribution. Goring estimates around 250 levels based on his observations from floor 202, deeming this goal achievable within the platform's travel time. Bahara agrees, and they fashion weapons from a broken bed. Jumping to level 5, Goring insists only those in acute food shortage get provisions. Bahara hesitates, as these were his allies, but he acknowledges the necessity, especially when an elderly man reacts angrily. Descending further, they fend off attempts to seize food until they meet Banong, a respected figure Bahara admires. Banong supports their mission, pointing out the administration's indifference and lack of conscience. He suggests appealing to workers on level 0 and insists they need a symbol. Bahara and Goring choose panna cotta for its luxurious appeal, aiming for impact if it reaches the bottom untouched. Upon reaching level 50, they begin distributing rations, receiving profound gratitude from the recipients. However, on level 97, they encounter a troubling situation involving a sick elderly man and a mentally disabled boy. Despite Goring's attempts to help the elderly man, the boy callously reveals his plan to kill him for sustenance. Moving to the next level, they find Mu's lifeless body, indicating Goring's miscalculation of the floors, and more than 250 existences. On the following floor, they intervene in a fight, but are overwhelmed by assailants' strength and weapons. While Bahara neutralizes one attacker, they fail to save Mu, who succumbs to her injuries. Despite Goring's desire to mourn, Bahara urges him back onto the departing platform. Continuing their journey, they distribute food, despite encountering floors with only deceased individuals. Finally, the platform stops at level 333, seemingly the last floor. They discover a hidden child named Molly under a bed, approaching cautiously as they disembark. Unexpectedly, the platform begins descending again. Goring urges Bahara to toss the panna cotta into the abyss, but Bahara hesitates. To their astonishment, there's no punishment from the environment. After much deliberation, Bahara finally hands the panna cotta to Molly. The trio remains on the floor, haunted not only by Trimagasi and imagery, but now also by Molly. Suddenly, Bahara starts echoing the ghost's voices, affirming to Goring that Molly embodies the message they need to convey. However, upon waking up, Goring finds Bahara succumb to his wounds. When the platform returns, Goring takes Molly and they descend into Florero, a dark and desolate abyss. Tri appears, advising Goring to leave the platform as he isn't part of the message. Together, they watch as Molly boards the ascending platform, hoping she'll reveal the harsh reality to those above. The story ends with a glimmer of hope that change may come.